Hi, I'm Michelle, and this is Danae. Danae and Michelle,
Hi.
two vegan chicks, and
So,
we are starting a YouTube channel to discuss veganism. I became vegan 25 years ago, and I love to talk about how to help animals. And my vegan journey began with my cat Tigger, and I helped I learned a whole lot with help from PETA. And I became vegan pretty much overnight because of some of the stuff I learned a few weeks into having Tigger. And one day it just connected, and that was that for me. Denny, how did you become vegan?
um, so I've been vegan for almost a year now. I was vegetarian for about 7 years prior to that, I think. Um, I visited a family-oriented dairy farm, family fr- family-friendly dairy farm, whatever. I don't, however you want to say it. And one of the baby cows, because you can visit with the animals. One of the baby cows was suckling on my hand, and I looked to the left and I seen all the mommy cows were being manually pumped of their breast milk with like these large chain contraptions around their neck, and it all just clicked in my head that it's not right, that they're not just milk machines, that milk is for their babies who are separated from them. So I went vegan. That was it for me overnight.
And I can see why. Have you seen the video of the baby cow while the mommy cow is being milked on the machine, like what you were discussing? And the poor thing is trying to suckle around that. Is that what you were talking
Mhm.
about? It's gut
Yeah,
wrenching
I've
to see
seen
that.
I yeah, I've seen that too. I cried because that's not for humans.
No,
That's for baby cows. Just like puppy milk, or I'm sorry, dog milk is for puppies, and rat milk is for baby rats. So, I mean, and then human breast milk is for baby
human.
humans. It's
Exactly.
quite simple, actually.
And
After you learn the connection, and see the connection.
maybe you could help me explain a little of the process of why we feel that dairy is the beef industry. I mean, it's one and the same. I mean, they go together. I
They
mean,
do.
I don't think a lot of people realize these baby cows are taken away and then often sold as veal at what, a few days
Yes.
old, couple weeks old, and they're kept
Couple weeks
in
old, I think.
complete
Yes.
darkness to be
Yes. Poor
anemic.
babies. Yes. Yes. And separated from their moms.
Hmm.
Their moms are mourning. They don't understand where their babies are. They're just like humans. They have a connection with humans too. Or I'm sorry, they have a connection like humans do with their babies. They have a bond.
Yes, yes, and I've often heard that if you've ever heard the sound of a wailing mother cow missing her calf, it is a sound that doesn't leave your head that easy.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know, I'm lucky. I've never heard it. I've never seen it except for through a video. That's why I want to get more involved in activism. And you have already been involved with Anonymous for the Voiceless. Am I
hmm
right?
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you've gone to how many did you tell me you have gone to a vigil before?
I have not. Um if the opportunity arises, I most definitely will. Even though it's going to be mentally hard for me, I definitely will. We'll do
Well,
it. Yeah.
it will be hard. I mean, because we're recognizing that there are sentient feeling beings
Hmm.
in those trucks, and we
Yeah.
can't just turn away from that. I would I shouldn't say this, but I would feel like hijacking the truck and taking them straight
Yeah.
to a
No,
sanctuary.
totally. Yeah. No, I feel the same. I would. I feel the same.
And I just the videos I've seen of this stuff is just mostly it's on YouTube, but I encourage people to watch stuff on social media. I encourage them to watch the footage,
Yeah, absolutely.
undercover footage that people have been able to obtain. And it's not going to be as easy to obtain because of
No.
ag gag
No.
laws that are happening.
Yeah.
Have you been hearing about those on your end a lot?
I have. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, with this channel, we'll get more and more into the activism part and we'll share more of like what we're doing, at different times
Sorry.
for
Yeah.
veganism. I this summer I really want to have my husband and I volunteer and help at sanctuaries, and I
Yes,
definitely
that's what I'm going to do too.
want to go to a vigil, even though it's going to be gut
Yes.
wrenching. So if you
Yes.
ever hear about one that I can go to in my area or you can go to in yours,
Yeah,
we should
absolutely.
be videotaping it.
Okay. Yes. Oh, I definitely will. And yeah, I should be doing activism this month. I don't know the or with anonymous, which is really that's outreach, but because the organizer has COVID, so
Well,
she just got back from doing activism in Georgia. One man was arrested. I donated money to bail him out. So
wow.
yeah,
See,
he's
that that's really screwed up to be arrested for being kind, for doing something
it's
helpful.
crazy. I know. I know. Standing up against fur too is what it was.
Oh my goodness. How can you I don't know how anybody could think that that's okay. That I mean, I I had an experience that I've talked about before where the cosmetology school that I went to had a fur and leather jacket sale. And PETA was actually outside the building. Somehow they were notified of it. You know how that works. We figure
Yep.
we know where these things are, and
Yeah.
they came out. And this was back in 1990. They came out to protest. They were outside. Everybody was getting mad inside, like they need to leave. And I was already on my way home. I didn't stay for any.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't buy anything, and I wasn't vegan at the time, by the way. And I came in the next day, there was all these pamphlets, all this information about fur and how it's obtained and the horrible things that they do to these animals.
Hmm.
And everybody was like, "Oh, that's so terrible." And I said, "But you were here buying a coat." That was one of my connections. We kind of talked about
Hmm.
connections before.
Yeah. I've had
That
many too, but yeah.
I was like, how can you be disgusted by this? But you bought, that was how you got that coat you're wearing right now that you
Hmm.
bought last night.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I never took that lightly, but it didn't completely change me. And that's why it's all connections. It's a
Yes,
click.
I have had a lot of them too. Yeah,
Hmm.
they do.
What was another one of your connections, your clicks?
I grew up with a pot-bellied pig, so I haven't ate pork since I was like 4 or 5 or something like that. So I mean, that was a connection. I wish I would have understood that. You know what I mean? But I was a child. I was a kid.
Oh, right.
So that was definitely one of them. She was buried in our backyard of the house we grew up in. She was our family member. You know what I mean? So definitely one of them.
And that's, and I'm sure, like what you were saying, your family was probably eating bacon and ham. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way that most of the world is brought up. Some animals
Yep.
are pets and some are bacon, sadly. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
it, it's cognitive dissonance. And once you unlearn that, and it's speciesism too. I
Yes, it
mean,
is.
so once we unlearn that, we can never look at it the same. And some people think that's extreme, but I always, Joey Carbstrong, I talked about him. I love the way he calls it the morgue section, the department with the
Yeah,
meat.
it
He's
is.
right. Literally,
It
the
is. It
body
definitely is.
parts.
And people don't see it that way, and it's sad. It's like, well, then, Gary, how do you pronounce his last name? Urowski?
Yurosky, yeah.
Urowski. He says, I can't remember the exact words, but basically that humans have made it to where animals are just completely viewed as objects. I can't remember the quote now, of course, but to
I
the point where that just they literally people view them as inanimate objects when they're not. They're living living, breathing, feeling sentient beings. Sorry, my words today.
it's okay. And I'm kind of doing the same thing. But they're not
Yeah,
wallets, they're not jackets, they're not purses, they're not food, they're not
yeah,
shoes. So
no,
once people realize that and a lot of people think we only care about animals. Well, humans are animals too. I mean, so to me they're human and non-human animals, and we do care about humans because when you care about an animal, like a non-human animal first, everything else falls into place. And
it does.
my mind can't be changed very easily about that because you tend to have
No,
more compassion in general towards everything in
yes,
life when you care about animals.
yeah, absolutely, 100% agree with you. Yes.
Is there anything else you wanted to bring up about
Not
our
right at the
channel, about
moment.
anything you're doing with activism, any meals you've been
Well,
making different?
uh, no, I've been eating tofu every day.
I could eat tofu every
garlic,
single day.
garlic tofu
That
is
sounds
my
yum.
go-to. Oh, I do. Yes, the sanctuary that I help out with, which is all the way in Uganda.
Yes, talk about that.
They are a vegan family, and they are a family of, I think there's 4 or 5 children, and the mom and dad, and so that's one thing. So I don't ever want to hear people saying, "Oh, veganism is for people with money or privilege. It's for the privileged." Definitely not.
Good
I'm far
point.
from privileged. Never have been my whole entire life. Um, because we a lot of us know how it is in Uganda, and they're definitely vegan. Along with they have started an animal sanctuary, so they have, I think, 4 or 5 piggies now. Unfortunately, one did pass away about a month, even ago. So I help with the GoFundMe's and the donations from PayPal, and I'm building a website, and I'm on Facebook admin group for them. So it's like my responsibility because in Uganda they don't have like GoFundMe and stuff. I have to MoneyGram all the money to the sanctuary
That's
along
that's
with
great
promoting
though.
it and
Thanks
stuff.
for mentioning that. And
Yep.
is there a way to get on to that? Is it a GoFundMe you said? Is there a way that people can donate to the GoFundMe?
It is Help Charles and his family, I believe is the name of it. Um, I need to link it to my bio. I need to link all that stuff to my bio. I don't know why I haven't yet. But
Yes,
yeah,
it'll
I
be
will.
linked in her bio, and
Yeah.
um, Yeah, please, if you can donate, any donations would be wonderful, I'm sure.
Yeah. Pays for vet care and all that stuff. It's not that easy in Uganda to have.
What did you say? Pays for what?
It, it's not easy in Uganda to have a sanctuary.
No,
It's
not
not.
let
It's
alone
probably the only one.
be
Yeah,
vegan and have a sanctuary.
yeah, it's right.
I mean, I'm in awe of that and think it's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah,
and we whine about, some of us, not us, I'm not saying us, but it's like we think, well, I can't be vegan. I'm not living off salad. I'm not living this way or that way. It's like, but it's not. There's so much. And if somebody in Uganda can do it,
yes. I don't even
anybody.
eat salad.
And I I eat salads, but I don't. That's not my
Not like
main.
that. I don't. You know what I mean?
No, they think we just eat sprouts and no.
Yeah.
I
I mean, that's how
really.
I mow my lawn. I just go out and start eating the grass. So,
I know. I've seen those memes where they're like, I had
yeah.
my friend help me mow the grass. They're vegan, and they're like holding him under.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, ah ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, there's so much more to that. You can
Yeah.
be healthy on a vegan diet at any stage in life, and you can also be unhealthy if you eat unhealthy.
Yes, you can.
I
Junk
mean,
food week.
s- same with being, you know, an omni. I don't like to say omni but I don't know why. I just don't like that because, I guess, would you say that that's an accurate description of what they do, an omnivore? Because they're eating animal flesh, but they're also eating vegetables and stuff too.
I mean, that's technically what they're called scientifically, but I mean, I do call them carnists. So,
See, I guess that's why I have a hard time using a nice word like seemingly nicer word like omni because that kind
yeah.
of to me it's almost like a euphemism in a way, like it takes away from what they're actually doing. It's almost
Yeah.
like saying, "Oh, well,
But-
they're a cannibal, but they also eat fruits and vegetables along with the."
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's just they're I say carnists or whatever. And some of them claim to be carnivores anyway, so
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and they're big teeth and claws. That's how
yeah.
they hunt.
Apex predators. Yeah.
They they don't use camo or anything to hide or guns or anything to hunt down their
Right.
animals, right? They just jump right
Right.
out there like a true apex predator
Yes.
at the
That's funny.
store.
Yes.
And I saw you said in one message to somebody about how you're like, whatever, you go to the store and you know it.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, I'm like,
laughing. That was awesome.
yeah, stop lying. We know that you go to the grocery store. We know
And
that you're not on a in a survival situation, which by the way, if someone is in a survival situation, are we against that? Them eating or doing what they have to do to survive? No,
mm,
you not at all. If you're in a survival situation. So I think we should touch more on that next topic, like with
yes,
indigenous people, because people are very mistaken and think I don't know what they're thinking. We're not asking indigenous people who are surviving off the land to go vegan. I'll just say that now. We're asking people with access to a grocery store
yes.
to go vegan.
People like us
So
who can go in and buy rice, vegetables, potatoes,
yes,
beans, all the
yes,
vegan food. There's really no excuse not to do it
no.
nutritional or
The only
otherwise.
the only store I have near me. is the dollar store. So I literally I have to drive 20 minutes.
Hmm.
So
See, I'm closer to a store, but I was in your situation before we moved a few years back. It was
yeah.
about a 20-30 minute. And if I want to go get certain things, I still have kind of a drive.
Oh
So,
yeah, if I want to get to like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or something, I have to go an hour and 20 minutes away. So
oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one because I was like, we need a Trader Joe's right here, right now.
yeah.
Some
So my
people
wife,
love Trader Joe's and some people like Aldi's better. Mm-mm,
it's this Aldi's here.
mm-mm.
Don't
It's
have
not,
hardly anything.
yeah,
So
see, it's not my thing. Yeah, I would rather go to Trader Joe's. They have
yeah,
some of the,
me
if
too.
anybody's curious, Trader Joe's has some of the best vegan brands in my opinion.
Yeah, they do. They do. I agree.
Well,
So
is there
yeah,
anything you want to leave on,
no,
but really look into supporting the Uganda sanctuary and it would be much appreciated. And if they can be vegan and
yes,
have a sanctuary, so can you. We can all do our
yes,
part, even if it's not the same
yes,
thing. We can all do our part.
yes.
So, okay, I'm Michelle, and
And I'm good night.
we're those two vegan chicks.
Yeah.
Like and,
Bye.
like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe. We're trying to get used to this. We will.
Yeah.